Here at InfoComm India, integration is not standing still, and today I'm joined by Phil from Wesco Anixter to talk about this wonderful market and how that translates to a global audience as well. So Phil, it's great to have you here at the Inavate booth at InfoComm India. Let's be real, integration's changing, right? It's expanding in a big way, but it's also consolidating too. We've seen a lot of big moves from global players. Where does this lead, do you think? What does this mean for your company and beyond?
I think, well, more broadly with the system integrator community, I think one word is opportunity. You know, an IJ45 turned up on the back of a piece of Pro AV kit many years ago, but it's only really now that we're starting to see the proliferation of the complexities coming out of the technology. It's moving into supply chains because the volume's going up. So I see a lot of opportunities for system integrators and for Wesco Anixter in that proliferation. For those that want to invest in it, so you've got to really want to. As I said before, you've got security coming onto the network, right? And it's coming across into, you've got brands here that are both in the security and AV space. So there's opportunities for other technologies that are underpinned by the network that you may not have had before.
No, you're absolutely right. We've definitely been transitioning to a more network-based industry, which has its own advantages and its own challenges, especially in the world of cybersecurity. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's a case now where you have to evolve or die as a business, right? Especially as a systems integrator. If you don't have those skills, in a few years' time, you won't have a business. What does that mean for distributors? What role do you think distributors will continue to play in the future as the market continues to evolve and becomes more network-centric?
Well, I can tell you that Wesco Anixter, our position has always been one of the differentiation in terms of our competition. We're very services forward. And what I mean by that is we can help system integrators articulate to a new technology. We can help integrators scale globally. So if they want to move globally or they want to move throughout APAC, we can help do that. No fragmentation in supply chains, we can do that for them. We can help with working capital. Can you imagine, you know, if I talk about the corporate sector, for example, where we used to do 4 or 5 or 10 or 40 spaces, we're doing 4,000 spaces. How do you cash flow all that? You know, we're a finishing trade in Pro AV. We're used to buying the product from a distributor or from a manufacturer directly, putting it on our own balance sheet as a system integrator, and then hoping that we get the payment terms right with the end user and that the project doesn't get pushed out. You can lean into Wesco Anixter, put it on our balance sheet. That's what we do. We have a lot of product on our balance sheet, so we can help these guys not only articulate across into new technologies that they may not have been involved with before, but their end users asking them. As well as help them cash flow and help them with these sometimes fragmented supply chains, particularly with the Pro AV industry where manufacturers pick and choose different distributors to go to market for.
Of course, and it's not just enough to be a box shifter anymore. You have to have that valued service. You absolutely do, and that's I think what integrated end users come to expect.
We always say that you enjoy the shade of trees that were planted years ago by others. So I can tell you that my job at Wesco Anixter was to steer the business towards the pivoting Pro AV industry. We didn't build this services forward function. It was built for other technologies like data center. We're very strong in. But I can tell you the market really needs it. And we've been, for the last 8 years, we've been forcing and promoting us as a services forward distributor, and it's really bearing fruit and supporting mutually beneficial outcomes for ourselves, obviously, and for the system integrator.
Absolutely, absolutely. We're talking about part of a network here. There's no standalone distributor or integrator anymore. It's all an interconnected industry, and that's so important. But I think being real here as well, Phil, we live in very challenging times. We live in a very opportunistic way. Like if we're thinking about it, there's the issue of global supply chains, disruptions to that, ongoing conflicts throughout the world. It's a very difficult time to be in business, especially with tariffs, right? How does Wesco Anixter continue to navigate this market, and what do you think your route forward is in the market?
Yeah, that's a great question. I think, one of the unintended consequences of the Pro AV industry coming together with IT, and we've been talking about this forever, right, is that the owner of AV now is IT, and they've been leaning into distribution for a long time because of the value-added services. So we're starting to see that really happen the last few years. We're in 56 countries, 50 plus countries. We have a big network of people. We're global in the way we are, but we act locally. And we can support the guys as they pivot to this. And I think really it's allowed them to say yes. Because really, as the system integrators, they don't manufacture the product. The manufacturers are coming up with more consolidated product, or more, where we used to put 12 RU racks in a room, now we can get away with a sound bar, for want of a better word, glass and some connectivity. So we can help scale. So I think that we're really coming to our own. If you have a look at Avixa's numbers on manufacturers choosing to go to distribution now, it's gone from over the last few years 19% to over 50%. So it's not just me telling you that, it's the manufacturers and system integrators alike are seeing the power of what distribution can do, and it's not just about selling the box.
No, you're absolutely right. It's about achieving that same end goal, which everyone at the same end of a chain is striving towards, but it is about being that chain in the middle, that strong link in the centre that really enables that, and I think that's demonstrated.
Greasing the rails, as we say in the US, to help them move into new technologies. I think that's really powerful.
Yeah, absolutely, and it seems to me that Wesco Anixter is really enabling that scalability and the flexibility that manufacturers, integrators, and indeed end users need. So Phil, thank you so much for your time today. It's been a pleasure.
Great, thank you for having me.